If you want to see the biggest coin in the world, you'll have to travel to Sudbury, Ontario, and see the big nickel, 30 feet high and about 2 feet wide. This was erected to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the discovery of nickel as an element by Baron Cronstedt. And nickel, of course, plays a big role in our life. It's in our coinage, it's in stainless steel. It is one of the most important metals. And that giant coin pays homage to nickel, but also indirectly pays homage to this gentleman. This is Ludwig Mond. You probably not heard of him, but he was a chemist who was trained in Germany, but in the middle 1800s emigrated to England, where he set up a soda manufacturing facility. Now, soda, sodium carbonate, is very important because it is used in the production of paper, it's used in the production of glass. And his facility produced huge amounts of sodium carbonate, but there was a side product. The side product was ammonium chloride. And Mond figured out that you could profit from that side product by turning the ammonium chloride into chlorine, which was marketable. The problem was that the equipment that was needed to do that was pretty complex. There were all kinds of pipes and valves that were needed. And the valves were made of nickel. And one day he noticed that these nickel valves started to turn black. Well, many people would have just ignored that, but he looked into it. And it turned out that the black was due to a compound called nickel carbonyl. And for those of you who are chemically astute, it's a very interesting compound. Nickel carbonyl turns into nickel when you heat it because the carbon monoxide is driven off. Now the question was, why were these valves turning black? Where was the carbon monoxide coming from? Well, it turns out that the pipes were being flushed to be cleaned with carbon dioxide, but that was contaminated with carbon monoxide. And so a fascinating accidental discovery was made. And Mond realized that this was a way to make really pure nickel, because what you had to do was to smelt the ore and then expose the nickel to carbon monoxide. It would convert it into nickel carbonyl, which could then be heated, and it would leave behind perfectly pure nickel. And that was really the birth of the nickel industry. He bought up the ore mines around Sudbury and extracted the ore, sent it back to Wales to be purified by his method. And this was a tremendous contribution to science. He became wealthy from his soda factories and from his nickel production. And Mond was a very good man. He was one of the first industrialists to have his employees be paid during their vacations. He had all kinds of benefits. He had sporting fields set up around his factories. And he left 42 paintings that he had collected. He was a collector of Renaissance art. He left these to be collected, to be viewed at the National Gallery in London. And one of the more famous paintings was by the Italian artist Raphael, and it is known today as the Mond Crucifix. So Ludwig Mond was an amazing man. Now back to our nickel. That giant nickel is actually not made of nickel. It is made of stainless steel, but stainless steel does have some nickel in it. And how about our coins? You know, these coins that we use, they're actually not made of nickel. It's made of stainless steel and copper with a thin veneer of nickel, but just enough to remind us of the fascinating chemistry that was instituted by Ludwig Mond and his method of making pure nickel. Accidental discovery, but a fascinating one.